Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Tech Help Club. Today I am going to discuss about redundant interface in the FortiGate firewall. So redundant interface in FortiGate firewall refers to a setup where multiple physical or virtual interfaces are configured to provide failover and load balancing for improved network reliability and the uptime. So redundant interface are typically used in a high availability configuration to ensure that the firewall continues to operate even if one interface or link goes down. So let's start. So this is our today's topology. Here I am using one L2 switch and the firewall having two ports, port 3 and port 2 configured in a redundant interface, and on the other side we have Ethernet 0/3 and Ethernet 0/1, these two ports used as a redundant port on the switch side, so that in case if one link goes down, the connectivity wouldn't impact as it goes through another port, that is from E0/1 or port 3 and PC1 or user 1 able to access the internet connectivity. So let's begin the today's configuration. So let me start the WAN equipment. So this is our router which providing the internet to the firewall. Let me start all these. Let me open this. So for switch side, you can configure the switch 2 interfaces E0/3 and 0/1 either in access mode or in a trunk mode. If you have a multiple VLANs, you can assign or configure these two ports as a trunk mode. Otherwise, keep it in the access mode. So let me show you first in the access mode. I'm not doing anything as of now. You can see show IP interface brief. So we have these two ports E0/3, 0/1, 3 and 1. Show VLAN brief. So these all ports are in VLAN 1 by default. So let's keep it as it is and go to the FortiGate firewall and check what is our management IP. Show system interface question mark, and you will see port 1 is getting the IP through DHCP, which is 192.168.111.130. So let me copy it and paste this IP again. Here we go. Admin 23, and you can see I am in the FortiGate firewall now. Now we have to do few configuration. First of all, we have to make these two ports in the redundant interface. So let's go to the firewall and network interfaces. Here you can see the port 4 is connected to the WAN router or ISP giving IP to this FortiGate firewire dynamically from this subnet. So you can see here it's already taken IP from this pool 192.168.1.0/24. that is it. And now from this side port 2 and 3 we have to configure these two as a redundant interface. So go to interfaces here, click create new here, interface, and give any name. So let me give name redundant interface, and alias name also let me put it redundant interface. And here from the type you have to select a redundant interface, and we need to call out two interfaces, these two interfaces 2 and 3. So the sequence is most important. If I'll put 2 first, then 2 will work as a primary link and 3 would be the backup of second. So if I'll put 3 on first place and 2 on second place, then 3 will work as a primary and 2 will work as a secondary. So all the traffic will move through the port 3. So let me keep it like as it is, port 2 and 3. Now port, you can see all the traffic will traverse through the port 2 only. So let me close it and ping, and we have to give manual IP. You can see here 10.01.254 would be our redundant interface IP, and let me give it to here 10.0.1.254/24 and allow ping at least to do some testing and hit OK. That's it. Now let's go to the interface again, and you can see here under redundant interface you will see your interface is ready, having two ports, port 2 and port 3. So now let's move on to the DNS. We have to set DNS. Let me configure it with the public DNS 100.1 and hit apply here. That's it. Now we have to give them a static route. So whatever traffic hitting on this firewall, it should move to the gateway ISP. So here we have a destination that is 0000/000, and we have to put a gateway. What is our gateway? 192.168.1.254. So which is our ISP port for this one, port 4. So just hit OK and save. That's it. And decrease the administrative distance of this one, so that make sure it follow this static route. And now we have to create one policy. Under policy and object, check firewall policy. By default, all the traffic follow this implicit deny at the end. So we have to allow the interesting traffic before that. So let's create a new policy. Allow our LAN to WAN, or maybe LAN to internet. And what would be our incoming interface? Incoming interface would be the redundant interface. So call out redundant interface here. Outgoing interface is ISP port 4. Source would be all, destination would be all, and services all. And that's it. And log the session and hit OK. That's it. Now you can see the policy is ready. Now let's move on to our PC here, and let me start this PC. Meanwhile, it's taking some time to start up. Let me start the capturing the traffic from port 2. So this is the analyzing of port 2, Wireshark capture for port 2, and let me capture the port 3 as well. Here we go, port 3. Right, so let me start this. Now my PC is booting up. You can see it started now, and go to network manager and see if it's getting any IP or not. Initially you can see here it's not connected at the bottom. It's written very small, so you can read here not connected. For that we have to set IP statically here. So what is our IP? 10.0.1.1, and what is our subnet mask? 255.255.255.0, and gateway would be 254. And what is our DNS? 8.8.8 and 1.1.1, and hit OK and press connect. You will see it will get IP. Here you can see it's getting IP 10.0.1.1. So now let's go to the terminal here and see if config. You can see here it's getting IP, and it's also getting the gateway. You can test by pinging the internet. Here we go. You can see we are able to access the internet from the user. Now we have to see for which port or which redundant port it's using as a primary to send the traffic. So let me open the Wireshark. So this is for the port 2 and this is for the port 3. So we are interested in ICMP, so let me filter it out with the ICMP. Hit here and also here ICMP. You can see the traffic is going through the port 2. This is the capture from the port 2 and this is the capture from the port 3. We are not getting anything on the port 3. So let me shut down the traffic. So let me shut down the port 2 of firewall. We cannot shut down port 2 from here GUI because it's binded inside the redundant interface. So we have to do it manually via CLI command. Let me keep it here like this way so that we can see all the windows simultaneously. Let me keep it here and open Wireshark. This is for 2 and this is for 2, 3 and this is our FortiGate firewall. So let me shut down the port 2. First of all, I need to go to config system interface and edit port 2, 1 and 2 and set status to down and hit enter. Until unless you will not press the end command here, it will not save the configuration. You can see still traffic is following through the port 2. Let me enter the end command. Now you will see the traffic will shift to the another port. Here you can see I am now getting traffic through the port number 3 and still our ping is still continuously going on, right? So there is no loss seen here from the user side and we are working with our internet through the redundant link and port 3 is working. Now let me set the status to up again. So what do you think? So it will fall back to the port 2 or still on the port 3? So it will fall back to the port 2. Why so? I will show you why, what is the reason behind that. So first of all, let me set the status up. Config system interface, edit port 2 and set the status to up. Hit end. Now you will see traffic will again switch over to the port 2. Here you can see the traffic is starting here on the port 2 instead of the port 3. Now what is the reason behind that? So the reason is we have a command diagnose netlink redundant. Let me check the list first what we have here and diagnose. Now we have to put the name of the redundant interface, that is interface, and hit enter. You can see here, so priority override is enabled by default. So whenever the port 2 came back or gets the connectivity, it will take the ownership and act as a primary link. So traffic will traverse through this port itself. So if you want to disable it, you can disable it. In that scenario, whatever the port is acting as a primary, it will not switch back to the original port. So it will act as a primary itself. That is it. And now let me show you with the trunk port configuration. Initially I haven't configured anything on the port on the switch side here, but let me show you with the trunk port configuration on the switch side. So let's go to the switch here, hit enter. So config terminal interface range ethernet 0/. 3 and Ethernet 0/1, sorry, Ethernet 0/1, hit enter, switch port trunk encapsulation dot 1q and switch port mode trunk, hit enter, exit and write the configuration. That's it. Now you can see here it will work and you will see the ping will continuously working. And let me open the Wireshark capture here for both the ports. So you can see here the destination host unreachable from the user side. It will take some time because this is the virtual environment, you know. Now you can see after few unreachable destination hosts we are getting back the internet access. So the traffic is flowing through the port 2. That is our redundant primary interface. So that's it for today. I think you got all the understanding about the redundant interface. If you still have any doubt, you can write down me a comment. I'm very happy to help you guys. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.